Star Dennis Rodman says he can do what the U.S. State Department cannot, and he is going to travel to Russia and free Brittney Griner. Chris Hahn is here, host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast. And look, Chris, when this first came out, you hear the jokes, okay, maybe we could trade Rodman for Griner. Okay, maybe they'll keep Rodman there and we can be done with it, on and on and on. But at the same sense, it would be funny if it wasn't so serious.
If I was picking a basketball team in the late 80s, he'd be one of my top picks. He was a beast on the boards. We all know that. And he was an animal on the court. I loved him. Loved watching him. But I don't know that this is the role for him. I know he's tried this before in North Korea. He was very interested in creating a peaceful relationship between the United States and North Korea. But I don't think that going to Russia with Putin and all of their sophisticated spy craft is the place for Dennis Rodman to go. I don't think this is going to help Brittney Griner. I don't think it's going to help U.S.-Russian relationships, and I don't think it's going to help Dennis Rodman at all.
Yeah, I'm thinking also about Paul Whelan, who's over there, and whether if you're Paul Whelan's family sitting here going, God, we're so close, there's this deal being negotiated, and Dennis Rodman might screw it up for his own PR stunt. White House, quote, it is public information that the administration's made a significant offer to the Russian, and anything other than negotiating further through the established channel is likely to complicate and hinder release efforts. In other words, do not go. Should the White House go as far as to say we're revoking your passport or we're sanctioning people who travel to Russia, on and on and on? We've heard obviously a lot about the Logan Act. Here you go.
Yeah, this could be a violation of the Logan Act, quite frankly. I don't think he's pretending to speak for the United States of America, so there's probably not that there. But no,
it's so much fun to talk about, isn't it?
Do we want to bore everybody? We could go down the road. I got the degree behind me that says I can talk about it. Look, Dennis Rodman's a fun character. We love listening to him on Howard Stern. His appearances are classic. They are among the best. But he is not a diplomat. He knows that. I guess this is an attempt to stay relevant, and it worked once before in North Korea. There was a whole documentary about his trip there. I don't know if you saw it. It was surreal. But this is not the place for him to get around.
I think we have to realize, right, that Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un are a little bit different in terms of their sophistication, their ability to deal with things and the like. I also think about this from Vladimir Putin's standpoint. What a way 6 months into the Ukraine war to sort of be elevated, and that he is now the puppeteer. He now has American celebrities coming over and kissing his feet. He now has an economy stronger than it was 6 months ago when he invaded. Yeah,
well, let me say something to Dennis Rodman, though, on that note. You better make sure that everything you pack in that bag is consistent with Russian law, or you're going to be sitting right next to Brittney Griner. I love you, Dennis.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. You better have somebody search those bags before you go, just to make sure.
Yeah, have somebody else double check for you. It's very important because this is not, you don't want to be sitting there next to her. I don't think that we're trading.
You have no reason to think that Putin wouldn't grab him as well. It's just another bargaining chip, another celebrity. But I think about how Putin has played this. Everything from Brittney Griner to his economy being stronger than ever. He has a lot of parts of Ukraine that he wants. 6 months in, it seems as though he's still, if not even, a little up in this deal.
I don't think so. I think he's down. I think they said they would be through there in 3 days. It's been 6 months. You see major associates of Putin being blown up in their cars in the last 24 hours. I don't think that he's in a much more stable place than he was before he did this. In fact, I would suggest that he is absolutely not in a stable place since that. His economic numbers, I wouldn't believe anything coming out of Russia, anything that Putin says. It is almost always a lie to serve his own purposes. So we can't independently verify what's going on in his economy. They don't have a free press like we have here.
But we
can't trust them.
Hey, wait, hold on. But we know the ruble's better than it was at the start of the war. We know that they've gotten $500 million from the Saudis in a bet on the Russian economy. We know he's still trading oil now at a higher price than it was at the beginning of the war. The big protest that everyone thought was going to take him down didn't happen. There's a lot of things that the White House really thought was going to come together to put pressure on Vladimir Putin that hasn't.
No, I mean, look, they're still in that war. The war is still going on. He's still in power. We could assume he's going to be in power for the at least near term. But look, it's late August. Winter will be here before you know it. I don't know that the Russian army wants to spend another winter on the ground in Ukraine fighting this war. I don't know. Look, they timed this war towards the end of winter to kind of, take advantage of a spring fighting season. They never got that advantage. They never got as far as they thought they would. Militarily, this has been a disaster for Russia. It has shown their weakness around the world. It has shown their weakness in the face of an army ready to fight for their country. This isn't good for Vladimir Putin long term. Near term, who knows? But long term, no, doesn't end well for him or Russia.
And we'll see how it ends for Dennis Rodman. Chris, good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Be careful, Dennis.
Words to live by, more ways than one. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.